And we are live, live, live. Welcome to this edition of Wealthy Wednesday. Today is going to be fire. I promise you it is going to be amazing. My name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. And it is really my vision to help you to protect, distribute, and transfer your wealth so that you can build that legacy and create generational and multi generational wealth. We've already had generational poverty, right? So now let's try some upgrade and have generational wealth. Well, but today is not about me. It is about my amazing guest that I am so honored, and really today is going to be special, and you're going to find out why. But when I think of my guest, I think it's really just a testament to what can happen here on LinkedIn. Oftentimes we might have connections that connect with us, and then we never really get a chance to really get to know them. Well, I had an opportunity to share a coffee chat with him. It was a great conversation. And you never know how that's going to go or where it's going to lead to. And here it is, all this time later, it's leading to this incredible opportunity to really get a deeper dive and get to know him even better. So, he is someone who really believes in helping customers first. He's a coach, mentor, a servant leadership, and he helps people to build their online reputation. So without further ado, please give it up for the amazing Amarco da Costa. Take it
Amazing.
away.
What a humbling introduction. What do I say to that? Thank you, Leah. It's a great pleasure to not only be invited to to this show, but to be here and share some valuable information and insights with both of our communities that spread across uh, quite a huge geographical area. Uh, you know, your your show is focused on generational wealth and well-being, and I spent my entire career in financial services. Started in banking, dabbled a little bit in insurance, and then backed out, and then jumped both feet into insurance. A lot of cross-functional roles, and my later stage in my career, I spent some time in the credit space. So well versed in customer facing roles, well versed in front end, back end. They really have an appreciation for holistic um, view on the industry when it comes to financial services. My passion now has kind of pivoted to being customer focused, customer driven, and really helping a generation of professionals really leverage their presence on social platforms like LinkedIn. It's understood that there's an abundance of opportunity to help young professionals, even seasoned professionals, polish their presence. And we talk about creating wealth, and there's a wealth of opportunity here for not only professionals to provide guidance, enrich and nurture their relationships with potential clients, but to upskill and develop themselves to bring generational wealth to their book of business or their family business. Insurance is really built on uh, families and relationships and so forth. And what better way than for the two of us to connect and have a conversation?
Absolutely. You are so on point. And we have a couple of people joining us. Of course, the amazing My Corazon, Miss Margaret Martinez. Thank you for joining us. And she is incredible. She's just somebody I'm so grateful. Another relationship I'm so grateful that I connected with on LinkedIn. I know people a lot of times tell me it's a professional platform, it's for job seekers, but really it's so much more. And you touched on it, Americo. And the thing is that we don't know where these relationships can lead us. I think that sometimes when people come into a connection with somebody, they think, buy my widget. And if you don't need my widget, who do you know that needs my
Yeah,
widget, and how can I sell my widget? And I think that gets lost, is that it's really about relationships. And really, for me, it's about the personal growth.
absolutely.
My My first video, literally, and I have it. I'm going to start reposting because it's so ridiculous. It was like, "Hi, my name is Leah Garcia. I sell insurance." I mean, literally, it was like 7 seconds long. Okay, I don't want to get on video. I mean, let alone doing this show. Wasn't really what I thought that I wanted to do, but now that I'm doing it, listen, I have met so many incredible people, so many amazing relationships, and I feel that I have really had an opportunity to become a better version of myself. And I believe that if we just focus on getting 1% better every day, in 100 days, we'll be 100% better.
Absolutely agree. I can't agree more with you. You know, we focus on way too much, and sometimes we are, sabotaging ourselves. You know, LinkedIn has had a stigma, at least in my lens, for the longest time as being, a job seekers platform, a recruiters platform to in pursuit of job seekers, and it's the furthest thing from the truth. I'm looking to create value. You talk about your personal experience on your first video. You know, let, let's share our first interaction and engagement with each other around maybe a year ago, give or take a month or two. And last night when we were catching up and going over today's topics, I shared with you how I came in feet first, trying to boil the ocean. And we hear this analogy, stop trying to boil the ocean, and that's exactly what I've done. I've scaled up, I've niched down, and I've really started to realize that my niche is helping professionals in the financial service industry, whether it's insurance, whether it's banking, lending, credit, everything and every product that touches people's lives and building relationships around that is really where I'd like to help others succeed. Uh, we can talk about, and I'm not here to make a pitch as to the types of services I offer, because at the end of the day, our conversations will vary. No two individuals or businesses have the same needs and desires to meet their financial goals and their wealth goals. I focus on two areas: whether the coaching and the services and business solutions that I offer. I can go on and list them. We can talk about journey mapping. We can talk about reputation management. We can talk about a whole slew of topics that touch on the value that I bring to my potential customers and the relationships that I'm building. But at the end of the day, it comes down to two things, and that's what are we looking to solve? And for me, I'm looking to solve one of two things. It's either culture or process.
Mm.
And call it what you want. We can use a lot of catchphrases and a lot of lingo that is relatively familiar to a lot of people. We hear the word customer service going about, and I think we're at a point where we're probably excessively using the word. It's now changing in job titles. Everyone is a customer service professional, but now they're given the title of customer experience specialist. So the term itself is being watered down, and I think it's important that we take a step back and understand customer service is a component of the entire life cycle. But I'm here to help people and professionals as well as businesses at all stages of the customer journey. That customer journey, we fail to realize, starts way before a pitch is made or a conversation is made. You know, I remember when I started, insurance was something you did face to face. You sat with a customer, and they either come into your office or you'd go into their home to have these discussions. Customers' needs, their desires, and how they want to conduct business has changed. It's evolved so rapidly. We've digitalized many parts of our industry. However, I think both of us can agree, still a little bit of antiquated components. And, it's a great opportunity to bring those areas of vulnerability to the forefront and help work on our social presence, work on, educating and nurturing our communities. In, LinkedIn, for instance, I have, I wake up every morning to, I'm sure everyone does, to a few pitches. Hey, I'd like to introduce you to some products, some solutions. But I also wake up and I go and check my update section, and a lot of people celebrating work anniversaries, milestones, accreditations, and that's the only engagement we're expressing. And I'm seeing it's like a lot of emojis, a lot of thumbs up. Hey, congratulations on 15 years with the organization. But you go into their profile and you see nothing else. Like, what value are you bringing to your audience?
Wow. There's so much good stuff in there. I want to kind of unpack it a little bit. So you talk about, years ago in insurance, yes, we used to go door to door. We used to have them come to our office. I've been in this business almost 20 years. And when I started, they taught us to carry around your insurance license so that you could prove to people that you were a real person, right? We didn't have social media. We didn't have all this Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff. And so now what I see is that people want to know who you are behind the picture, behind
Absolutely.
the website. They really want to know more about you. And people talk about authenticity, but then they don't have anything authentic or real or vulnerable on their site. And the reason I leave that video up, the one that is, hi, I sell insurance, is because I am being vulnerable. And that's not easy to do. I'd rather take it down. I'd rather, do all kinds of things with it. But I just want people to know that we all start somewhere. Even though I had been in the business for years, I wasn't doing video. I wasn't hosting a show. And so we can all start somewhere. And I love that when you're sharing is that a lot of times people are posting, but then there's no vulnerability there. Maybe
Absolutely.
your like or your comment might be the only attention that they get in that day. And I will tell you, Michael, you are so incredible with that. And really, I have to say, I'm so humbled by it because we had this connection, which was awesome. We had a fun time, I think. And then I would see your posts. They were really genuine posts. You would reply to my posts, you would make comments, and that's really when you build that affection towards other people, right? And that's how you can really poke your head up.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
can get attention by highlighting other people. And when we're willing to understand that, I think that's when the true connections can really thrive and prosper. What do you think about that?
I can't disagree. People buy from people they like, know, and trust, and that's the reality. And we're not here to single anyone out, but if I were to give you an example, we're all consumers to some degree, and today the way consumers think is quite different. If I need a product, whether it's insurance, whether it's a tangible, where do I go? I go and start my search online. Over 80%
Right.
of every purchase decision is starts with an online interaction. Some people go to product reviews, some people go to service reviews, some people, there's a variety of places people go to. What we fail to realize or recognize is that when it comes to large ticket items, especially those closely knit and connected to our lives, our most valued possessions and wealth, people go and look beyond a review, whether
Right.
they go and they visit platforms such as LinkedIn. You know what? This person works for a reputable brand. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what they're writing. Let's Let me try to understand how the brand advocacy translates into this person's social space. So consumers are now visiting profiles of those who are selling the product. And it's no longer just, hey, you know, I got a 5-star review. This brand has a 5-star review. I'm gonna buy from this organization because their customers are likely to recommend them to and took the time to write a review. You got to really peel it back and understand the behavior that's customers and prospects are looking at. Just this morning, I rose awareness, and we're not going to point fingers out, but I'll give you a high level example. There was a particular brand that I was doing some research on, and just as I had suggested, I went on Glassdoor. Let's see what employees are saying about this organization. And the organization, you know, a lot of people don't really believe that employees take time to write good reviews. I care to differ. I think the right people take the time to send the right message. So this particular example, hey, had a particular brand, wasn't really being represented strong on public domain review sites. Let's see what the employees are saying. It kind of resonated with the reviews. So you know what, I'm going to take it one step further. Let's go onto the company page on LinkedIn. Let's see what employees are saying, and spend some time navigating. And up to the CEO of the organization. The CEO had 8 connections, had no picture,
Wow.
no
Wow.
no banner, and has yet to post a single event on LinkedIn. So a lot of people say customer experience is a cultural thing, and it starts from the top. And so it's so important to understand and leverage your presence on platforms such as LinkedIn, because there are eyes watching. There are people who really resonate with what is being, not only what is being said or written, but what is not being said and not being written.
Wow, wow, wow. So in my mind, when I think about that, it's like very incongruent. And I think we've gotten away from those 5-star reviews because we know that a lot of people, or there are some people who can buy reviews, or
Yeah.
they've got these bots and things like that. Listen, when we're doing this live, I could easily do this recorded where I could cut out things, where I could doctor it up and, make it look even better. Okay. But I like to do it live because you can't fake this. You just can't fake this.
Agreed.
So if something goes a little wonky during the live, hey, champions don't panic, we pivot. Okay, we figure it out. And it's gone a little wonky sometimes. The camera didn't work or the lighting's off. But that's when you really get to see who the person is, right? Who is that real person? We can all be perfect in the picture perfect photo. But really, your character is shown when things go awry, when people are looking at you when you don't even think that they are. You think you put this profile up, you've already got a job position, nobody ever is going to look at it, and then suddenly you find yourself looking for a new career, but suddenly you find yourself unemployed, and there is nothing on your profile. I mean, I can't tell you, Mariko, and I'm sure you've seen this. So many people who are job seekers and they put the green banner, but there's no banner on their profile. There's no headline. There's no content whatsoever. There's not even a like anywhere.
No, absolutely. And if we were to use your example, someone who's open to work, how often do we come across profiles where the intent is one thing and then the impact is completely different, where they're having struggles in finding employment and they fail to realize and connect, hey, finding my next opportunity is going to bring me back financial stability and financial wealth, and I can start thinking of my goals and my dreams and my aspirations and start saving once again. But on the same breath, they're posting negative content about their former employers, about the industry, about recruiters, and you're not doing yourself any justice, right? You really got to take a step back, and when you talk about, or when I talk about customer experience, you got to look at and consider yourself as the commodity, as the brand. You're selling yourself and your personal brand, and you have to walk in the same shoes and follow the same framework, because you're now being sought off by others. And if you're not selling yourself and you're not bringing any value, you fail to realize the disservice you're doing yourself by, venting on a platform such as.
Wow, wow, wow. Can you say mic drop? I mean, literally, it's mind boggling. You know, my one of my friends said to me, whenever you point a finger at somebody, three fingers come right back to you. And he said that to me years ago, probably 20 years ago, and I always remember that. I always remember that. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not perfect at it. But we've got to be really cognizant of what is the message. I love what you said, and Marco, is that the intention is one thing, but the impact is different. We may be intending to just kind of maybe blow off some steam, but that impact is something completely different. Folks, it's very, very difficult to put the toothpaste back into the tube. And so we got to be, I think, just even hyper aware of what is the message that we're putting out there. It can be very easily misconstrued. And I think that sometimes, and I'd love to know what you think about this, Amarico, is that people think branding, or they believe that branding is just for somebody who is an entrepreneur, business owner, solopreneur. I really believe that branding is for all of us. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Branding affects all of us in some shape or form. Students try to get on a roll, and they're very studious and dedicated. They set their personal goals because they know that there's a prestige to being on the dean's list. They understand the the pedigree that brings to their personal brand. And those who do it and understand it correctly uh, get further ahead a lot sooner. I'll be the first to put my hand up and say I was a little bit of a laggard when it came to life's realizations. Um, but hey, it's never too late as long as we're learning. Um, and that's all you can really ask for. Learn from whatever mistakes you may have made. Not taking any action or recourse is not a viable solution. I've always told people that I've worked with and worked alongside, hope is not a strategy. So let's not hope that things are going to get better. Let's not hope that things are going to change. Hey, we're in a huge financial crisis, record inflation, which is now starting to stabilize, and we got record unemployment, which the governments are now starting to realize, and efforts are being made to bring things back to normal. But will they ever be back to normal? Probably not. A lot of fingers are being pointed at, artificial intelligence and how it's impacting us negatively. But if we're to pause for a minute and realize, hey, before AI, people were being laid off, things were happening, lives were being impacted. It could have been different variables at the time, but we can't point the finger at technology. Technology is here to help us evolve and bolster us as humans and as businesses. It's here to help us. My career, when I started in banking, um, telephone banking was all the rage, and everyone was up in arms. Oh my goodness, I'm going to lose my job. They're going to close branches if customers just pick up the phone and start doing their banking. Guess what? Banks are still around. Are there fewer branches? Perhaps, but we've given our consumers more choice, and they're now able to bank by phone. Guess what? Since telephone banking, what's evolved? Online banking. So things change, and we need to climatize ourselves and acclimate ourselves to those changes. And essentially, that's what I'm doing. I'm not taking the fact that I was laid off and part of a restructure or a reorg get me down. Open to work, always. Willing to work, absolutely. But I was given advice like, hey, you got some skills here. It's a tough job market. If you're just going to sit and wait and hope that something comes through, you could be waiting a long time because there's a lot of skilled people, some more skilled than I am, some equally as skilled as I am, and we're all vying for that one spot. So why not take the opportunity to harness the skills that I have today, leverage them and offer them as a service, help those in the financial service industry understand that I've walked in the shoes that they're looking to walk and the path that they're setting themselves to go down. And I want to uh, help them make that path as seamless and as effortless, not only for themselves, but for the customers and the families and the communities that they're going to impact, influence, and support.
Yeah, that's so true. And when we close ourselves off, like nothing can happen. I mean, we've all seen the stories, we've all heard the biographies of somebody who was doing something, and then suddenly another opportunity opened up for them. And I'm always reminded about how you do something is how you do everything. So if you're at a job right now that you don't enjoy, you're in a career that you're kind of seeing the writing is on the wall, things are going to be changing, and you kind of don't bring your best self to it, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know what door that can open by you still bringing your best self there. So, Marco, I would love to know what has been the biggest surprise for you on your LinkedIn journey. What has been the most surprising thing for you as you've been kind of evolving and growing, as we all are,
Yeah,
like we all are?
absolutely. Uh, I gotta say, hands down, the the su- the support from complete strangers, right? We're connecting with we are strangers to one another. At some point, we don't know who we are. We don't know what our professional backgrounds. We're relying simply on what's written on our profiles. And yes, we're always one click away from making that connection. We're always that one click away from deciding, do I want to connect? Does this particular profile meet and align with who I am and what I stand for? Uh, but once you sit down and start having conversations, and some solicited, some unsolicited, the unsolicited ones are the ones that really pull at my heartstrings because people are reaching out to you and saying, hey, this really resonates with me. I'd like to give you some advice on how to do something differently or have a different approach. And people are willing to take time out of their day, complete strangers, and build and nurture a relationship to help others. Um, that I would say is by far the most impactful change.
Wow, that is that I love that. And you're right because I have people who will reach out to me and say, "Hey, you know what? I don't need your services, but I want you to know I really love this, right? I really like that." So that is so true and it really is to me giver's gain. For me, what I've learned, one thing I've been probably the most surprised about is how many people that I will meet out and about and then will look at my LinkedIn and looked at my social media. It's not just about this group that here within the platform, but it does also reverse. People that you meet will come and see you here and then find out that, there are some areas that you can collaborate, or maybe they need your services, or, maybe they're just another connection. And I shouldn't even, let me rewind that. Another connection, because it's not a just, right? That one connection could open up doors for you that you could never open on your own. So I think anybody who is not really putting energy, whether you are
Hmm.
self-employed or not, is not putting energy into a platform such as LinkedIn or social media for a professional presence, I think is really missing the boat.
Yeah, and I got to give credit to a lot of top voices. One that really sticks out. Anyone not following David Alto, um, look him up. Uh, he's he's opened my eyes to second degree connections, and he helps people, um, job seekers predominantly, build their LinkedIn personality and profiles. But he really believes that, simply applying for a job that you think you align with isn't enough. And it's really about connecting with the people that are either at those companies. But he really, once in a while, he'll post, hey, second degree connections. Don't lose sight and visibility to those second degree connections, because if someone who's in your community, if I like or comment or share something, they're going to see it, and be aware that there's an opportunity within those second degree connections. So it's something that I've really kind of focused on. It's not just about the organic growth, but holistically the wider audience that is and may be looking at what we have to say, what we have to share, and the value that we bring.
You just blew my mind. David Alto will give you a shout out. I'm thinking about, even if you think about this, even if you only have a few connections, maybe you have 10, you're just getting started. Maybe you're gotten to your first 100. You think you only have 100 connections. But if you look at all of those 5, 10, 100 connections, who are they connected to? That is I'm going to say that's a huge blind spot for me, because I sometimes will go through that, but very seldom. I love that. I'm going to look up David Alto. I'm going to be checking out his stuff. So that's so powerful.
Yeah,
So
the
go ahead.
sorry, the exercise that he shares with people, and I don't want to steal his thunder or say that it's proprietary to me. This is all his. If we go on our search bar in our LinkedIn profile, and you just don't enter anything, just hit enter and go to second degree connections, you'll actually see how big your second
Wow.
degree community is. And when he first introduced that piece of content, I was at, I think maybe, I'm guessing now, but a couple 100,000. I'm now, you know, maybe 750,000 second degree followers, and I have a
Wow.
relatively small community. I'm only 7,000 plus followers, um, but the magnitude that the math really translates into really large numbers.
That math is mathing for me, for
Right?
sure. I'm just,
Well,
like I said, you totally blew my mind. So, again, David Alto, wherever you are, I'm going to find you. I'm going to connect with you. So, I'd love, you kind of gave me a good segue. You touched on it in the beginning, but I'd like to know I see this term you use a lot, journey mapping. What is that? I've been in the financial services industry for nearly 20 years, and I don't think I know much about that. So educate us, if you will.
well, journey mapping isn't exclusive to financial services. It's a term that is understood across all enterprises. And it's really about understanding uh, the steps and the touch points and the journey that a customer has from inception of thinking or having a need for a product or service. And where does that customer go? Where do they gravitate to? What struggles and vulnerabilities do they experience along that journey? And some will say um, marketing, customer experience is, is focused on and predominantly more marketing driven. Let's get customers into the funnel. Let's get them clicking. Let's get those clicks and start converting those clicks. And I agree wholeheartedly. A lot of value goes into marketing, but I think we fail to realize, and this is my opinion, and some people might disagree, but there's a lot happening before that email comes in, before that customer clicks, and that is part of the journey. That awareness stage. How do you create awareness to bring those customers to want to talk to you? Today, a lot of people, hey, I'm looking for a life insurance rep near me, and Google will give you a whole list of reps near you. And and same could be said for lending, insurance. You know, you can Google pretty much everything, and you'll get an abundant list of people nearby. But what really happens when that customer says, "All right, you know what? Leah's right around the corner. If I were to meet with her in person, I think she's a great person to reach out to." And they go to your website and perhaps learn, all right, um, what's your website navigation like? How easy is it to get a hold of you? Because your landing page talks about your product, it talks about your brand, it talks about solutions. Like, yes, but I need to get a hold of Leah. How can I do that? And then, where do I find searching? You find yourself navigating, looking at the websites. Like, okay, this is very graphic driven, very beautiful to look at, very aesthetically pleasing, but I need to get a hold of Leah. How do I do that? And you find in a very small font in the bottom, contact, and it becomes so cumbersome. And, for some people, that is their pain point. And say, you know what? This is too much work. Leah, I'd love to have given you some business or given you an opportunity to share what you have, but your company has made it very difficult for me to get a hold of you. Similarly, that customer decides to move along in the journey. They find someone else. They find a number that's readily available, and you call that number, and you're given a whole slew of options. For English, press 1, for Spanish, press 2, and it's like for however many languages, and you find yourself navigating through this menu that is so cumbersome. That might be, the pain point that tips a customer from going, all right, I can't press 0 because someone's programmed this menu so that 0 doesn't take it to a live person. And it's, pieces of that journey, such as the examples I'm giving you, and there's just so many examples. People don't know what they don't know. You're a lot of businesses sell solutions to enterprises. Hey, we're going to give you an automation system. We're going to automate your processes, and it's going to drive customers to you a lot quicker. And then once that customer lands on your landing page or in your call center or in your support center, and you're waiting and waiting, and you don't know when you're going to be answered. And then you're hearing in between hold music, hey, did you know that you can go online and get your questions answered? Well, what do you think I did? I started online, got 0 help online. Now you're sending me back online. Or there are instances where you'll get to a live agent, and that live agent knows, hey, I'm looking for travel insurance. It's like, oh, that's a small ticket item. I really don't want to spend the next 5, 10, 15 minutes focusing on a small ticket item when that next item could be that big home, auto, life. I'm going to push that customer online. It's like, yeah, you can buy your travel insurance online, visit our website. And so it's really about understanding what's important to that customer, and circling back and understanding how we can help individuals and businesses. Like I touched on earlier, not every business has the same requirement, but not knowing what customers are going through, a journey map helps tremendously. It's like, yeah, you can use journey mapping to understand different personas. What customers are we targeting? What age group are we targeting? What professions are we targeting? What geographical areas are we targeting? That is part of the whole journey and understanding the dynamics of your customer. But when you roll up your sleeves, walk in the shoes of the customer, looking at things from the lens of a customer, what does that look like? So I'm that proverbial person in the weeds looking for areas, and sometimes it's a nuance, sometimes it's an outlier, but even those outliers, don't neglect those outliers, because they could open your eyes to opportunities, whether it's new services, new products, or more efficient and effective ways of helping the larger mass that you have. So in a
Yeah.
nutshell, without really I try to keep things as logical and simple. I kind of built it into my brand journey logic. We can all stand behind a whiteboard and I can go through what journey mapping is, but try to make it as plain in plain language so that everyone can understand the opportunities that lie when you have someone else look at things and put it into perspective for you.
That's so good. And you really drove home the point that is one of my pet peeves. When I go to look for somebody and there's no phone number, there's no address, it's like they're a secret agent. And I'm not talking about people who are not even on social media. I'm talking about people who have a social media presence. They're a professional. I've seen it from insurance agents, from professional realtors, from notaries to CPAs. Like they don't want anyone to contact them. I just don't understand it. So I get it. And to say that that's only happened a few times, it's happened more times than I can quantify. And I just think that is so tragic. They're missing that opportunity. I don't know if it's a blind spot. I don't know if they don't want people to call them. I'm not really sure. It's like,
Yeah.
telepathically, am I going to meditate and you're going to appear? I'm not really sure, but I think make that journey as easy as possible as you can.
Yeah,
Have
absolutely.
presence many places. And I'm going to tell you something that I do that I don't think I've ever said anywhere publicly, but I love to write Google reviews. And my daughter used to laugh at me. Every place we went, I'd write up a review, I'd take a picture, but I would give very, very detailed reviews. So look me up on Google reviews. I used to do it in the beginning for nail salons, and then I started doing it for every place that we go, food and stuff. And I think I've got like 600,000 views on my Google reviews. And you think, well, I'm not trying to be a reviewer. That's not
Mhm.
the intention, but I just think that's one other way. That's one other place for people to see,
Yeah,
right? Who I
absolutely, absolutely. I'm really keen on sharing good, bad, and indifferent advice, and I'm open to changing and altering. If I misunderstood or misinterpreted something, I'll go back and edit a Google review. But Google reviews are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to managing reputations. Yes, a lot of people gravitate to those platforms, but they also gravitate to LinkedIn. If we circle back and bring the conversation back to LinkedIn, many of us who want to be or are aspiring to be and are successfully solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, business owners, the services page has a review section that you can share with the rest of your audience. Uh, yes, there's a limitation as to how many, but not leveraging it at all is you know is a missed opportunity for those of us. And so let's be sure to leverage those business pages. Same idea. It's a great opportunity for us to deflect what goes on in Google. People go to Google because they don't have any other options. If you have a business page, someone can connect with you on your business page and work things out and keep whatever, the good, the bad, or the indifferent. If it's good, you're going to want it to share that. If it's bad, uh, own up to it. You know,
yeah.
and take ownership. Give customers the not only the option to leave those reviews or to engage and interact with your brand and your organization, but also be timely. How often do you see reviews going unanswered when you're looking at a particular service? You know, keep it to our industry. I see it all the time. I'll looking. I was shopping around for automobile insurance not too long ago as my policy was coming up for renewal. And there are reviews. Hey, love my agent. And words of kudos and encouragement. Hey, and not a glimmer of hope that there was going to be a response in any of the reviews yet you clicked on. And you're doing yourself a disservice. right? If you're going to put yourself on a public domain, you got to stay on top of the game.
Yeah.
And that is so valuable, and a lot of people misutilize and misunderstand. It's like, hey, I use it just for search, to have a presence. I don't have time to engage with everyone. All right, so if you don't have time, reach out to individuals such as myself and many others who can find solutions. You can now automate those reviews to get responses. Yeah, some of us might have differing opinions of the bot responses, but if a bot gives you a response, you got to vet it first, and it's already written. You like it, you click, and away it goes. And that's going to resonate when people see that professionals are responding and are engaged with their communities. It makes a tremendous difference, and it opens doors. And at the end of the day, we're all here with some similar intention, and that is to grow and prosper and create generational wealth. I have a family. We all have families. We want to leave them something, and we're doing ourselves a disservice by not harnessing the opportunities that stare us right in the face. And
Yeah.
the lost business and the lost potential to someone's reputation. The example I used earlier, when the CEO isn't engaged or connected to their community, that says a lot, right? So and it trickles down to the frontline employees. And I'm really trying to change uh, the stigma around organizations having strict social media policies. We don't want employees to tarnish our brand by going on and saying something that perhaps they shouldn't, because it's going to drive shareholder value downwards. So it's really about educating your front line as to what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and opening those gates. Employees want to do well for themselves. They want to do well, and they want to do right for their organizations. And we got to equip uh, each other to allow social selling and our social presences to be felt, heard, and understood, because that's what customers are looking for. And if organizations are stopping and preventing their front line from doing that, they're not helping themselves. And there's an opportunity here at a corporate level to really open up revenue streams by educating and providing the guidance and allowing professional to go on and write and post industry trends and shares and their thought leadership to drive increased value to brands.
Yeah. The biggest thing, I love what you said for me, was really giving grace. Nobody's perfect. We've all made mistakes. We're all going to muck it up
Yeah,
sometimes, but
absolutely.
giving ourselves and others an opportunity to make it right. And if you are open to that feedback, I think it will. For me, I've been shocked and amazed on how many people will give me grace and give me a second opportunity to make things right, because it doesn't always go perfect, right? It's not always puppy dogs and butterflies. So we're kind of winding down here, Mariko. So where can people reach you? What's your best platform? What do you have coming up? Like, tell us what's going on with you in the next 6 months,
So
year,
the
5 years.
next 6 months, let's start with how you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on LinkedIn, Marico DaCosta, or you can visit journeylogic.ca, and all my that's uh, that'll bring you to my landing page and website, where I talk about a little bit about who we are, what we bring in terms of value, and you can connect with all our other socials through our website. But my biggest presence is LinkedIn and my website. So you might not find as much engagement or activity on the other social websites. But the next couple of months, I'm really looking to continue to help and put together a LinkedIn literacy coaching program. I really want to help financial service professionals, up their game when it comes to engaging with their communities, helping them understand the opportunity that lies ahead of them, and helping them nurture uh, their their communities. There's a lot of LinkedIn optimization coaches who will tell you all the right things to do for an effective banner, an effective headline, and all the sections. Yeah, I'll cover that as well. But what's really important is the meat and potatoes, and it's that content, that engagement. How do we get in front of those second degree connections? You look at the numbers. Yes, there's over a billion active users globally.
Yeah.
Do we need to get in front of a billion people? Probably not. The algorithm just isn't designed for it to work out that way. But still, between Canada and the U.S., there's over 250 million members, and some of us are at different stages, further ahead, and some of us are looking to and aspiring to become top voices or top in our particular fields, and looking for ways to quote more, sell more, and retain more clients. And LinkedIn is by far one of the best platforms to do that.
I totally agree. I love LinkedIn, and I just think that it's such a missed opportunity in many ways for a lot of people. Well, I love this LinkedIn literacy. You definitely got to share that information when you get it. I don't know if are you making an ebook, or what is this course going to look like?
So I am going to put together an ebook and post it on my website so that everyone can get a better appreciation for what's what's included. But it's not a one and done. I want to be able to offer, along with a guide or an ebook, uh, two sessions, and kind of sandwich them together with the guide or the ebook. I want to be able to sit down and walk through and do a LinkedIn profile map and do a mapping session, no different than I would a customer journey map, but I'll do a profile map and help people understand the nuances and that make a difference. Help them, let them take it away, make some revisions, and circle back and revisit their profiles after recommendations have been changed or applied. Some people will see changes as resonating with them, others may not, and that's perfectly fine. Some people may not be ready for some of the recommendations that we make. It's not in their cards at that particular time. But it is something I do offer. I do give a high level um, mapping service. It's free. Just reach out if we're connected, or send me a DM, and I'll put something together for you. And if there's something that resonates with you and you want to sit down and have a discussion, then we can discuss.
That's
Similar, right?
awesome.
Similarly, same thing with small businesses in the financial services industry. There's no cost to sit down and have a discussion with me to understand what it is that you might think you need or what you might think you don't need, and we can have a discussion. And I'm not going to try to force a square peg into a round hole. It's a free consultation. We bounce ideas around, understand each other's vulnerabilities and how we can help one another, and taking it from there.
Yeah, I love that. So you can see Amarico is a wealth of information, lots of free stuff. Reach out to him for sure. And for me, I think about it this way. Our network equals our net worth. And I'm not just talking about money, right? I believe that when we increase our net worth, every area of our life will improve. Our talk about our 5 F's, our faith, our family, our finance, our fitness and fun. And my mentor said it this way. He said, it's no longer who we know, it's who knows us. And those are those second degree connections that are probably a blind spot. I'm going to put up my hand. That is a blind spot for me. So that's something I'm definitely going to be working on. Well, I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for showing up for us. I appreciate the wisdom and knowledge and expertise that you bring to the table. And I'm looking forward to this LinkedIn literacy. You definitely got to reach out to me and share your ebook. Put it in the comments when you have it. And that's going to do it for this edition of Wealthy Wednesday. And remember, if you are looking to really explore your LinkedIn journey and really your client's customer journey, you want to reach out to Marco. He's going to help you to identify those blind spots. So my name is Leah Garcia, financial strategist and insurance professional. It has been an honor to be with you here today. And remember, we will see you all at the top because we all know it's way too crowded at the bottom. That'll do it for us.
Thank you, Leah.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Goodbye.